In this video, we're going to go through the entire project lifecycle. Starting here in DevOps, I will create a new project from scratch, and I'll give it a project name. I'm just going to call this one Training Project, and for training as my description. I can decide if this is public or private. I can also decide what kind of version control. We're using Git here, and this is the work item process I described in another video. We're using this template, the Agile template, just a slight variation of it for Steltics, and that will decide what kind of task board gets created for this project. Project is being now created, and all of the different tabs and the default permissions are assigned. So if I go here on the left-hand side, I can see that it gives me all the things that we talked about. It gives me a dashboards if I want to configure them in a wiki, and it gives me work items. Repos, that's where we're going to go first. We're going to start here under files, and you'll see here that it gives you a default repo out of the box that you could use, and it will call it the same as the project name. So I can start this one. I'll just call this one, I'll clone this one in VS Code, and it brings the browser tab up with this option to clone, and then it brings us into VS Code, and it asks us where are we going to store this. So I'm going to create a new folder, also call it training, and that's going to be my location to bring down the code. You'll see here the code comes down, and I want to open this up. So now I just want to select that I'm trusting this, and now I have a project but nothing in it because we have no code yet. So I want to open up a new terminal, and that will give me all the tools that I need there. So on the command line, we can create a new project using our SuiteCloud command. So I'm going to do SuiteCloud help just to see what the create command is. And I can see that it is project : create. So I'm going to say SuiteCloud project : create. And I think this is -i for interactive. Okay, account customization project or suite app. We said before that account customization is really what we normally do. It's just a number of scripts we'll add into a project or into an instance of NetSuite, whereas suite app is more of a bundle that you'll bundle up and maybe distribute as a bundle or as a zip file. Enter a project name. This is going to be training 2. Do I want to include any testing? Not for now. It's now creating my project structure here locally, and everything went well. I can see the project on the left-hand side. As we said before, this is all created in the structure that will work in NetSuite. So underneath the file cabinet here, anything that we create that we want to import into NetSuite, we can create in this Suite Scripts folder. So I will actually create a file inside of here. I'm just going to call it tests.js. I'm going to just put a comment in there for now, just so I have something. And you'll see here on my Git tab, I have 4 changes that have occurred here since I brought this down as an empty repo. So we now can commit all of these from using this. So I can stage them all by using the plus sign to add them. I can give a commit message. I'm just going to say first, and then I can actually commit them. Now, once that is done, you'll see that all my notifications go away, and at the bottom here, I can sync this, and it will say, couldn't find remote ref. Oh, we might need to make sure we're on the right branch here. So let me get into the training folder. Okay, we're on the master branch here. just going to try it from the command line. Nothing to commit. It was just because my original reference wasn't set up yet. So if I come back out here and refresh this, now you'll see that I have my files from that training 2 folder, and I just went ahead and committed this to the master branch. This isn't the way we would do it, as we said. We would set the locks on this branch. So I'm going to do that now. If I go here to branches, there's only one branch at the moment, but when we get the tasks, we'll use those to create new branches. But on the side here, I can set up branch policies, which will then load up the settings for that. And this require a minimum number of reviewers. Depending on your team, one usually is sufficient. If you're if this is a repo that, like, let's say it's an internal repo, and sometimes you have to push changes very quickly, like we have some, then this allowing people to sometimes approve their own and is safe. Then yeah, check for linked worked items, if it's required or optional. And then you can decide if you want to make sure that the comments have resolved all of any potential branch conflicts, and you can also limit merge types here. But once you set all of that up, then this will automatically be applied every time this branch master is involved in a pull request. So we'll go out here and we'll go back to my command line here, and I'm going to create a new change in my tests folder. In my tests script, just to be able to commit something. I'm going to create a new branch here. So if I just click here, up at the top you'll see create new branch. It's going to ask me for a branch name. I'm going to call this training 1. And now I'm going to commit this. So I'm first going to stage it, and then in my branch, I'm going to commit it, and then you can see here I can sync it here. Now on my branches, I'll have another branch called training, and more importantly, I have the ability to create a pull request here. So we'll go through that process. This is my pull request. It automatically fills in the title based on the last commit, and then I can choose the reviewers here. Anybody who's configured in the team. I can decide which work items to link. These can link any of these you'll see, and then I can add any tags for further filtering, and then I can create that pull request, which then sends a notification to the reviewers, or optionally, if I'm one of the reviewers, I can come back here and I can see the files, say, okay, this looks like a reasonable change, or I can comment on here and say why. He can get a notification there and come back and make a comment. Maybe then I say, okay, that makes sense, I'll approve that. Now, once it's approved, okay, then I set autocomplete. Just shows me the type of merge I'm going to be doing, and it now will go ahead and do the merge and notify me when everything is done. If you have deployment processes down here, pipelines and stuff set up after the fact, which we don't in many NetSuite projects, but if you do, then it'll go and build that, like if it's an NPM package that's being built or something like that. So that is the end-to-end process of a project lifecycle. You might have many merges and pull requests as that project continues to get updated, and you might have multiple repos in some of these projects. Right now, this one only has one, but you could also import another one. You could create a new one from here, and then they just end up in this list, but all the features are the same. So that's the project life.